Last night of our brief West Coast tour, and so in honor of that, I'd like to take a moment to introduce each member of the band along with what I perceive to be a tour lowlight for them. Maybe the worst point of tour, but a relative low. To my right is Don Mitchell. Don is from Waltham, Massachusetts. He plays banjo and guitar, and a few mornings ago, we woke up in Bellingham, Washington, and Don had been convincing us the day before that there was a hike that we all needed to go on together, or a few days before, up at a spot called Fragrance Lake. But we got in at 2 a.m. The night before the proposed hike, and Harris and I were both fast asleep at the time that we needed to go on the hike in order to make it to the next venue on time. So Don ended up going alone, and I think it was because he woke up earlier than he wanted to, so he didn't get as much sleep as he'd hoped. Realized he probably wasn't going to be able to fall back asleep, but then had to go on the hike solo that I think he was sincerely hoping that we would join him on. And as a result, he filmed a series of videos of himself shaming us and then posted those to our band's social media account. And Harris and I didn't find out about most of this until we watched the videos on our own social media account. Everyone owns our social media, so we are generally unaware of what's happening there.
It had actually been so long since Harris had been sucked into the social media at all that I had to actually approve his sign-in.
But yeah, it just seemed like he was at a tough point in the tour. Don Mitchell, everyone. The hike did look very nice from Don's unhinged videos. Seated and to my left is Harris Paseltiner. Harris is from Northampton, Massachusetts. He plays cello and guitar, and we played a festival earlier on in the tour. And this was a festival that we had played, this is a festival called Strawberry, very close to here, that we were at yesterday. And we had an excellent time. However, the last time we were at Strawberry, which was 5 or 6 years ago, there was an unbelievable ice cream sandwich. It had like very thin layer. They called it brownie, but it was thin layers of like very chewy brownie, dense. It was like the traditional ice cream sandwich of your dreams. It was unbelievable. We ate them then, and we've been talking about it since. And Harris, so we went on a mission as soon as we finished soundcheck to go find these ice cream sandwiches, and it became clear that nothing looked recognizable. None of the shop fronts, none of the sort of vendors at the festival. And there was a reckoning of like so many things. We've lost so much. There's so many. I think when you're younger, there's this sense that like bands, like if a band is playing now, they're going to be around forever. If restaurants around, they're going to be around forever. And then you realize like, oh, all of those things are just one decision away from not existing anymore. And so we were reckoning with the loss of this ice cream sandwich, and Harris was not feeling good. We ended up. They were still around, they just changed their branding, and we did enjoy the sandwiches. But for those few minutes, they're pogos, they're made in Grass Valley, and they're unbelievable. But for a few minutes, Harris was pretty despondent. Harris Paseltiner. My name is Auyon Mukharji. I'm from Kansas City. I play mandolin and violin. We had one stop in Canada, in Vancouver, we were told by our management that we needed to leave our merch behind because there's apparently some difficult international politics. Look at us, we are exactly the kinds of folks who are going to get stopped at the border, so we were told to leave us behind. The border guard, I didn't see him by all accounts, by the gentleman in the front seat, the border guard, who was a very attractive man, did not say anything about merch. He asked if we had booze, and then let us through. So when that happened, I run our merchandise, so I was kind of bummed that he didn't, because then we could have brought it. It was just a whole series, and I didn't even get to see the hot guard. So it was just like there was a lot of stuff. That whole interaction made me feel pretty bad about myself and my seat in the back of the van, where I choose to sit because I like being isolated. But in this case, it was not the right move. Thank you all very much.
Silence